This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Okay, so I've got a little bit to talk about, but I'll try and cram it into a short capacity as I possibly can for this video. So Eddie Hearn, for the last several weeks, has stated how Dillian Whyte is the front runner to fight Anthony Joshua in August. So looking at August the 12th, potentially the O2 Arena or a stadium somewhere. And even as recent as within the last couple of days, Eddie Hearn has reiterated that Dillian Whyte is the front runner as far as he's concerned. Now, Anthony Joshua put out a social media post and said something along the lines of, I don't know anything about any talks with Dillian Whyte. It's always AJ's going to do this and AJ's going to do that. Well, AJ can F your mum and whatever else. I'm not too sure what that last part was about, but it's what it is. Now, Dillian Whyte, he responded to Anthony Joshua by calling him like a weirdo and deleting your tweets and all that kind of stuff. Just man up and fight, that kind of stuff. Now, it could be a case of, and again, this is just me giving an alternative view here. It could be a case of, obviously, Anthony Joshua is 258 management. 258 management is Anthony Joshua, okay? He's the head honcho of that management company, okay? And it could be a case of that, whereas Eddie Hearn has been making the fights and presenting the fights to Anthony Joshua, making the deals and all that kind of stuff in time gone by, but maybe now 258 management, Anthony Joshua, are now doing it their own way and are not including Eddie Hearn. So when Eddie Hearn says Dillian Whyte, well, that may have been the case beforehand, but now 258 management and Anthony Joshua are like, we're making the fights now, pal. If you want to promote them, of course. You've got a contract with us, feel free to promote them. But we're going to tell you who we're going to fight, not you tell us who we're going to fight. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe now they're like, right, time to do things our own way. And I say that because obviously when you look at, say, the Fraser Clark-Fabio Wardley situation, it was 258 management who went to the British Boxing Board of Control to petition for Fraser Clark to become the British mandatory challenger for Fabio Wardley's British heavyweight title, right? They didn't consult with Ben Shalom, Fraser Clark's promoter for Sky Sports Boxer. They didn't even consult him. Didn't tell him who's going to do it and all that kind of stuff. Ben Shalom found out at the same time we all did when the board released it. Which is a little bit weird because you would think that they would go to the promoter in that particular circumstance with Ben Shalom and say, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. What do you think? As we are part of a team. But it appears they didn't. They like cut him out and said, okay, board, we want this one. Right, Ben Shalom, you put it on. And then there may or may not have been some kind of rift now between Ben Shalom, boxer, and 258 management and Fraser Clark. I don't know. Again, all I can do is speculate. So move back on to this particular situation with Dillian Whyte. It might be a case of them, 258 management, Anthony Joshua, going to Eddie Hearn. You know what? You've always made the fights before, but now we are making the decisions. We are going to make the fights. If we want Dillian Whyte, we will reach out to Dillian Whyte, not you. It might be that. It might be that. Now, it's a little bit odd to do that because obviously it's Eddie Hearn. He's going to be the one who comes up with the money, right? He's the one who's going to promote the show. But there again, maybe 258 management, Anthony Joshua, are cutting out Eddie Hearn and dealing with DAZN directly now. It might be that. But Eddie Hearn will just sit there at the front table and promote the fight. Could be. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting because maybe 258 management, Anthony Joshua, collectively now are like, right, now we're going to take control of our own career. Now, I heard 2 weeks ago, probably about a week and a half ago now, I heard that Anthony Joshua and Filip Hrgović have agreed to fight each other. Now, I said this, probably, months ago now. I said I wouldn't be at all surprised because if you look at the IBF rankings, Anthony Joshua could be next, and that's a shortcut for Anthony Joshua to get back into the world title picture. Usyk's going to be fighting down Dubois next, that's his WBA mandatory. After then, the IBF is next, that's Filip Hrgović. So if Joshua wants to get back and fight, say, Usyk again, that's a shortcut straight back into it. Fight Filip Hrgović, beat Filip Hrgović, then you're the mandatory and you get to fight Usyk again. So, as I said, that always made sense, and I heard about a week and a half ago that these guys were going to be fighting. But there again, I also heard that Filip Hrgović and Dempsey McKean have already agreed to fight. So again, just boxing, listen, it's a very small knit kind of like a community, if you like. like behind the scenes, but you sometimes hear things and whatever else, okay, but not everything's true, of course not. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It's going to be very, very interesting. I mean, who knows? Maybe Joshua won't even fight. But by sounds of it, Anthony Joshua's kind of like had enough of people talk about him, as in his promoters and things like that, saying who AJ is going to be fighting next. Maybe AJ's like, you ain't telling me who I'm fighting next. I'm telling you who we're fighting next. Don't be surprised if Eddie Hearn's getting pushed out a little bit. No, he can't be pushed out fully, because obviously he's got a lifetime promotional deal with Anthony Joshua, so he's always going to be his promoter. But as far as making the fights, no. 258, Anthony Joshua will be making the fights. You want to promote them? You've got the contract. You promote it. But other than that, we're making the decisions. It could be that. Could be that. Or maybe I'm way off the mark. We don't know. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.